In the endless flow of time, our lives are often compared to a sequence of constant motions. There are days when we endlessly run after the bustling sounds out there, trying to keep up with every hectic rhythm of work, of worries, and responsibilities. However, there is a profound philosophy of nature that the pinnacle of the most delicate dance in the world does not lie in agility or speed, but in the ability to know when to stop. To stop to feel, to stop to relax, and to stop to immerse oneself in another rhythm, the rhythm of stillness, gentleness, and healing. Tonight, a very special spirit is waiting for you. It is not a loud, ostentatious spirit with car horns or noisy sounds, but a sacred, condensed spirit, overflowing through the smooth sands of a distant, legendary land, where bare feet can weave magic with the purest love. You do not need to hurry, nor do you need to look for anything in the outside world anymore. Right now, everything around is slowing down, giving way to an absolutely safe space, where your soul is sheltered and embraced completely. Before we begin this magical journey drifting to that distant horizon, you are warmly invited to spend a few precious moments settling the space around you. Let the Sava Bedtime Stories channel accompany you tonight, like a loyal soulmate, bringing you the most soothing sounds of relaxation. If you love stories filled with healing colors and wish to find a peaceful haven for your soul after each long, exhausting day, you can press the channel subscription button, like this video, and share it with your loved ones. Your silent companionship is the warm source of energy for Sava Bedtime Stories to continue weaving beautiful dreams. Now, close the windows, adjust the light in the room to the softest level, and allow yourself to truly rest. Gently lean your back against a soft pillow, finding a lying position that feels most comfortable and natural to you. Let the entire weight of your body be supported by the soft mattress below. You no longer need to brace yourself to hold on to anything. Let your shoulders completely relax. Your shoulders, which have carried so many burdens throughout a long day, now let them sink deep down, weightless and at ease. Slowly close your eyes very gently. There is no need to squeeze them shut. Simply let the two eyelids touch each other like two thin leaves falling onto a still lake on a calm, windless afternoon. As your eyes close, the world of shapes and colors outside temporarily recedes, making way for a peaceful, vast, and incredibly pleasant inner space. Now, direct your attention to your natural breath. You do not need to try to change its rhythm, nor do you need to breathe too deeply or too long. Just let the breath go in and out as naturally as the breath of a soundly sleeping child. Inhale a gentle breath. You feel the cool stream of air slowly passing through your nostrils, bringing the freshness and purity of an early morning breeze. That stream of air spreads across your chest, down to your abdomen, soothing every cell and every tense blood vessel. And then exhale at a leisurely pace. You gently release all the cluttered thoughts, images, and stories of today, along with the warm stream of air going out. Each exhalation is a time you feel your body becoming lighter, softer, like a piece of soft silk floating gracefully on flat water. Continue to maintain that gentle breathing rhythm and guide your mind through each area of your body to feel the relaxation spreading. Relax the muscles on your face. Relax your forehead, where the wrinkles of contemplation are gradually erased, becoming smooth and untroubled. Relax your eyebrows. Relax the muscles around your eyes and even the corners of your mouth. Let a faint, serene smile appear unconsciously on your lips. It is the smile of peace of mind, the smile of someone who knows they are safe, being protected in this very space. This soft relaxation continues to flow down to your neck, your nape, and then spreads to both arms. Your right arm is relaxing. Your right fingers are letting go. Your left arm is also relaxing. Your left fingers are completely at ease. Both arms at this moment are like two soft tree branches hanging loosely under the moonlight, without any force, without any tension. Next, the warm flow of this relaxation travels along your spine, spreading to your entire back, down to your hips, and running long down to your two bare feet. Your feet, which have walked through so many roads and supported you through so many ups and downs, are now resting absolutely. The toes stretch out slightly, warm and soft. You feel a gentle wave of warmth running from the crown of your head down to the soles of your feet, bringing an indescribable feeling of comfort and peace. At this time, your mind has begun to drift away from daily worries. You are like a small boat that has found a wind-sheltered bay, anchoring safely by the sandy shore. Regardless of how the waves out in the open sea may rise and fall, in this peaceful imaginary space, you begin to hear very vague, very gentle sounds echoing from a distant sky. It is the sound of ocean waves softly lapping against the side of the boat, the sound of the wind blowing through the rustling leaves regularly and rhythmically. You are gradually leaving the busy reality to step into a magical journey of the soul, where you will listen to a love story as beautiful as the sunset falling over the vast blue ocean. Just continue to breathe evenly, very slowly, very softly. Your body is sinking deeper into relaxation. Your mind is ready to receive miracles. Now, as your entire body has become one with the stillness of the night, let your mind freely float with the whispering waves of the vast ocean. We are journeying together through soft, fluffy clouds, crossing the distances of space to reach a faraway land, where the golden sunlight is as rich as sweet honey and the human heart is always as expansive as the sea breeze. That is Alvorada, a pristine little village nestled by the coast of Rio de Janeiro in legendary Brazil. Here, time seems to move to a completely different rhythm, slower, deeper, and filled with wonders woven from white sand and blue waves. The sunset in Alvorada is never in a hurry. It slowly, gradually paints the fluffy clouds drifting in the vast sky with a soft pink hue, then gently casts a brilliant, sparkling ribbon of golden orange down upon the immense waters of the Atlantic Ocean. From the deep sea, cool breezes blow inland, bringing the familiar briny scent of salt, the crisp chill of the water, and the faint, pure fragrance of lush green coconut fronds swaying to a unique melody of the great woods. Every breath of nature here carries a wondrous healing power, soothing weary souls. If you could open your eyes to look within this poetic imaginary space, you would see before you small, ancient houses washed in pure white, standing out with balconies painted in sun yellow and green, the two colors representing the undying pride, life, and love of homeland of the Brazilian people. On those balconies, people hang hammocks woven from coarse, warm ivory-colored cotton. Tonight, the entire village seems to be slowing down, stepping ever so softly to blend into the atmosphere of the greatest football festival on the planet, the vibrant World Cup. Yet, in Alvorada, you will not find the loud, bustling noise of high-powered speakers, nor any hurried car horns or shouts to disturb the night. The people here welcome the festival the way a gentle river flows to the sea, exceedingly peaceful, deep, and full of reverence. It is a spirit that does not cry out through car horns, but a sacred emotion ready to overflow from deep within the chest. The whole village seems to hold its breath, watching every movement of the great festival. From the elders weaving nets on the porches to the 5-year-old child who has just learned to run, everyone wears the legendary yellow number 10 jersey, the shirt that carries the soul and the great dreams of a nation. They do not turn up loudspeakers. They choose to listen to the murmuring radio as if listening to the very heartbeat of a great dream spreading across Brazil, lighting a warm fire of hope in the cold winter days. Under the porch of an ancient house right by the sea, an old man with hair as white as the foam of ocean waves and skin, darkened and hardened by the sun and wind over decades, sits leisurely weaving an old fishing net. His hands move swiftly and rhythmically, matching the deep, warm beats of the surdo drum and the crisp, guiding clatter of the pandeiro tambourine echoing from afar. That is the traditional samba melody, the rhythm that has deeply infused the blood and flesh of every person in this land. But tonight, it is played at a very slow, sparse, and gentle pace. The drum beats are like the tender pulse of the coastal village, softly warming the space that grows cold as the silent darkness prepares to cover all things. Beside the old man, a small battery-powered radio, resting on a weathered wooden table, murmurs with the rising and falling sounds of football news from the capital. It sounds so peaceful and close. The old man suddenly pauses his netting hands, directing his kind eyes toward the long, flat stretch of sand before him. There, the tide has just receded far away, leaving behind a smooth, damp, and cool expanse under the twilight. That is the heavenly football pitch of this little village. A truly special pitch. No chalk lines, no bright floodlights. Its only boundaries being the leaning, protective ancient coconut trees and the small, rippling waves lapping against the shore. The two goals are marked simply and rustically by two large-brimmed straw hats left behind by fishermen after a hard day's work at sea. The old man smiles, his distant eyes filled with nostalgia as he looks toward the far horizon, where the crimson sun is about to sink completely into the deep ocean. He lets out a soft sigh of contentment, catching the cool night breeze, and begins to tell the children gathered around him on the straw mats under the porch an old tale. His voice is deep, warm, bearing the briny essence of the sea and carrying a strange magnetism, drawing listeners deep into a far-off realm of memory. The time when the village's football legend was woven from a pure, gentle, and magical love. Let yourself listen to those words, allowing your soul to drift into the tale of days gone by. Many decades ago, when the old man was still a young man, with bare feet as solid as the roots of forest trees, the village of Alvorada had a youth named Thiago. Thiago possessed eyes as bright as the night stars over the sea, and naturally, curly hair always steeped in the briny scent of the waves. In Thiago, people saw most clearly what is called Ginga, the soul, the philosophy, and the ultimate art of football of the Brazilian people. Ginga is not just the way a player dribbles past an opponent. It is the way Brazilians live, walk, and face life. It is a graceful dance originating from the ancient martial art of capoeira, a blend of skill, flexibility, and a free, unyielding spirit. When Thiago's foot touched the ball, the whole world seemed to stop moving. That young man played football not to win, not to compete, but played like a dreamer, painting pictures with his bare feet. Thiago's ball at that time was an old leather ball, worn at the seams, bearing the scratches of time, passed down through 3 generations in a family. That ball smelled of leather wax, summer sun, and the salt of Alvorada's sand. Every afternoon at sunset, when his work helping his father pull the fishing nets from the sea was done, Thiago would take the ball to the smooth sand. The young man would bounce and dance, dribbling the ball through the coconut groves, performing rhythmic juggles, as if the ball were attached to his foot by an invisible string of a peaceful magic. And in those windy afternoons, there was always a gaze watching Thiago from the balcony of the house with the deep purple bougainvillea vines. It was the gaze of Mariana, the girl with the sun-kissed smile and long hair flowing gently with the sea breeze. Mariana loved the way Thiago played football. To her, each of Thiago's strides on the sand was not the harshness of a competitive sport, but a romantic poem written in the language of the body. Mariana often tied brilliant yellow ribbons in her hair, the color of the national team's jersey, the color of hope. Whenever Thiago executed a beautiful move, Mariana would smile softly, the silver bracelets on her wrist clinking merrily against each other, blending with the sound of the ocean waves. Their love blossomed as naturally as the rising and falling of the tide each day, gentle, deep, and without a single bit of noise. Thiago loved Mariana with all the sincerity of a coastal youth. He did not know how to speak sweet words. He only knew how to entrust that love into the old leather ball. There were nights, under a full moon as bright and clear as a mirror, when the entire village had sunk into stillness. Thiago and Mariana would walk hand in hand along the damp beach. Thiago would guide the ball with the sole of his foot, gently passing it to Mariana. The girl would slightly lift the hem of her skirt, receiving the ball skillfully. As the ball traveled from Thiago's foot to Mariana's under the moonlight, they realized the first lesson that football brings. The ball is not for exclusive possession, but to be shared. Brazilians play football the way they love, without selfishness, only with rhythm and respect for each other's world. They played ball together under the moon, without saying a word, only the sound of bare feet gliding over the smooth sand, the soft thud, thud when flesh touched the leather ball, and hearts beating in harmony with the rhythm of the crashing waves. That was the Ginga dance of love, fluid, elegant, and incredibly peaceful. The World Cup season that year came to Alvorada in a year full of hardships. The entire coastal region had to face continuous storms. Fishing boats had to stay ashore, and the lives of the villagers became quieter and live. But the spirit of football, that immortal religion in the hearts of Brazilians, never went out. On the contrary, it burned even more intensely beneath the surface, becoming a solid spiritual anchor to help the people overcome difficult days. To bring everyone together and restore hope, the village chief decided to organize a traditional friendly match right on the beach of Alvorada on the very afternoon of the national team's final match. That match was called the Sunset Match, a game in which everyone in the village, from robust young men to the village elders, from 5-year-old children to gentle young women, either participated or stood cheering around the sandy shore. Thiago was the leader of the young fishermen's team. Their opponents were the team of veteran shipbuilders in the village. The pitch was the smooth sand left bare when the tide receded to its lowest point, exposing a vast, cool expanse beneath the soles of their feet. The match began just as the sun touched the horizon, casting its final rays of a mystical purple-pink hue. There was no referee's whistle, no rigid penalty cards. The match took place in an atmosphere of absolute freedom. People played football with all their hearts, by instinct, and with pure love for their homeland. Thiago glided across the sand like a seagull soaring through stormy winds. His thin tank top was soaked with sweat and seawater, but his bare feet remained strangely light and graceful. He shrugged his shoulders, swayed his hips, passing the ball with his heels, his shoulders, and his head rhythmically, as if dancing to an invisible samba melody. Mariana stood by the sandy shore, her flared skirt fluttering gently in the sea breeze. She did not shout wildly like the others. She chose to cheer for Thiago with the small pandero tambourine in her hand. Each time Thiago touched the ball, Mariana's drumbeat would sound steadily, guiding him like an invisible string connecting her heartbeat to his every stride. The match drifted into its final minutes when the light over the sea turned into the deep blue of twilight. The score was tied. At this moment, mist from the deep sea began to drift low over the beach, blending with the warm vapor of the sand to create a mystical scene like a dream. The old leather ball flew gently like a bird through the hazy fog. In a decisive moment, Thiago received a pass from his teammate. Before him stood 3 powerfully built shipbuilders blocking the path to the goal, which was guarded by the two straw hats on the sand. Without a single hint of hurry, Thiago glanced toward Mariana. Under the dim twilight, he saw her smile sparkling and the yellow ribbon in her hair fluttering gently. Thiago took a deep breath, drawing the cool sea breeze into his chest. He executed a body feint, dropping his entire frame low before suddenly spinning around, delivering a backheel chip over the opponent's head. A masterpiece of the art of Ginga. The ball rose, tracing a beautiful arc against the purple-pink sky, clearing the goalkeeper's reach and falling gently into the empty space between the two straw hats. The entire beach of Alvorada seemed to erupt in happiness. But it was not a roaring noise. It was bursts of bright laughter, warm embraces of kinship, and roaring applause blending with the ocean waves, continuously lapping in joy. Thiago did not celebrate with intense gestures. He ran straight toward Mariana, opening his arms wide to embrace the girl of his life. Under the hazy mist of the Atlantic Ocean, they stood beside each other, absolutely happy and at peace. That match entered the legend of Alvorada Village not because of winning or losing, but because it fully expressed the immortal soul, love, and cultural identity of the Brazilian people. The ball flew into the goal, and a miracle happened. The fishermen and shipbuilders, who had been disputing and holding grudges, suddenly embraced each other, tears mingling with the salt of the sea. At that moment, the listeners realized the great value of Brazilian football. It is not a game to determine winners and losers, but a religion of healing. It transforms hardships, poverty, and fractures into a dance of forgiveness and community bonding. In life as well, the Ginga philosophy teaches them that when facing the storms of life, instead of stiffly resisting with violence, face and overcome them with a fluid, optimistic soul overflowing with love. Philosophical reflection. Through the story of Thiago and Mariana, we realize that football does not just take place on the grass pitch through soulless numbers, but it is the flow of love and empathy. The great Ginga philosophy teaches us how to face the twists and turns, the storms of life, with the most fluid and gentle mindset. When we know how to share, how to walk rhythmically beside one another without the desire for exclusive possession, all wounds can be healed, and life becomes a serene dance beneath the sunset. The old man brought his story to a close just as the darkness of night completely enveloped the entire village of Alvorada. The surroundings grew so quiet that one could almost hear the faint, soft sigh of Mother Earth after a long day of warming herself under the sun. The children gathered around him, who had initially listened with wide, captivated eyes, had now drifted deep into sleep. How peaceful their faces looked, their lips occasionally parted into a faint, unconscious smile, as if their innocent souls were still wandering, dreaming of Thiago's magical strides, or Mariana's golden ribbon on the smooth, windy shore. Now, the atmosphere of Alvorada became remoter, deeper, and more condensed than ever before. In the stone cottages and whitewashed brick houses, the oil lamps and storm lanterns were being lowered at a leisurely pace. The light filtering through the open windows that welcomed the sea breeze was no longer bright. It had softened into a warm, faint amber glow, casting a gentle yet protective light into the twilight air. A soft night breeze blew through the ancient coconut trees, creating a steady, rustling sound that murmured over and over, like a rustic lullaby from time immemorial, warming the cooling air. The match on the coastal sandbank had concluded long ago. The old leather ball, marked with the scratches of previous generations, had been carefully wiped clean of its very last grains of fine sand, then placed neatly beneath a wooden bed that carried the fragrant scent of timber walls, lying in quiet anticipation of the next sunset. The entire village of Alvorada resembled a vast living entity, breathing very slowly and deeply after a long day of living passionately with the love of football. The small battery-powered radio beside the old man had been turned off, returning absolute stillness to the night and yielding entirely to the grand, silent symphony of nature, the great woods, and the boundless sea. Right now, imagine yourself lying on a hammock woven from soft, coarse, ivory-colored cotton, hung on the windy balcony of an old house in Alvorada. The hammock sways back and forth in an incredibly gentle manner, moving in perfect rhythm with your own natural breath. As the hammock sways ever so softly, the profound lesson of love, of delicate sharing, and the gentle spirit of a legendary nation glides through your mind like a soothing touch. You suddenly realize that every storm, every difficulty out there will eventually pass away like a summer shower, leaving only pure love, forgiveness, and a fluid, resilient optimism to endure through time. You feel the cool, crisp sea breeze brushing against your skin, carrying away all the weariness, the cluttered thoughts, and the burdens of daily life. The open, briny scent of the ocean, the faint aroma of wood smoke drifting up from the kitchen below, and the gentle chill of the late night make you want to curl up even deeper, feeling warmer inside your soft, thin blanket. Far out in the distance, the boundless ocean continues to play its deep, resonant notes. The sound of the waves lapping against the smooth shore, whispering, then receding, whispering, then dissolving. That rhythm is steady, cyclical, repeating endlessly like a timeless clock of the universe. It is gently soothing your mind, slowly leading you away from the busy world to sink deeper and deeper into a misty, floating, and tranquil space, completely free of worries. The gentle love of Thiago and Mariana, the fluid spirit of Ginga, and the legendary football soul of the Brazilian people are now nothing more than shimmering traces of light, softly drifting through your mind like flickering fireflies in the night. Those images grow fainter and fainter, dissolving gently into the misty shroud of the Alvorada night. There is no longer anything you need to worry about, no lingering thought that requires your judgment. The bustling, heavy world outside has completely receded behind the thick velvet curtain of the dark night, allowing absolute stillness to claim its throne. Only peace remains, along with a protective warmth and the silent lullaby of the Atlantic Ocean. Let your entire body surrender to complete relaxation as every muscle and every cell lets go, turning pleasantly heavy and still. Allow your soul to float freely, drifting with the small, rippling waves out in the open sea. Sleep is coming to you in the most natural, gentle, and soothing way, just like Mariana's golden ribbon fluttering softly in the twilight breeze. Inhale a deep breath. Feel the serenity filling your chest, and slowly exhale, releasing every single burden. You are sinking deep into sleep, deeper and deeper still.